Hello, welcome to Fridays at 4 on twitch.tv/DDO stream. Appreciate you being here today. So it's been kind of a short week here for us at Standing Stone Games because we had a holiday this week, the 4th of July holiday, for those of you maybe outside of the U.S. who aren't aware, although I don't know why you wouldn't know that. I'm sure our advertising has reached your shores as well. Regardless, it's been kind of a shorter week, so we don't have a huge amount of news for you this week, but we do have a few things I can talk about a little bit later on in the show, and then I'm just going to hang on Wayfinder. I've got a character I'm looking to hit level 32. Figure I'll use the stream to get some of that done. Talk a little bit about the rest of the news, and otherwise just maybe, a few of your questions here today as well. So, should be a pretty chill show. Not a real news-heavy show, to be honest. And fun times. We do have a couple of things happening, though, and I really appreciate you being here. Let me actually change scenes briefly. And we'll get what news I have up. First bit of news I would mention, let me actually put that QR code, unless you, in case you wish to QR the code while I'm talking about it. We started a new social media network. Well, no, we didn't start a new social media network. That's not true. We joined a new social media network this week. Yes, we're starting our own. D20, we're calling it. You roll, and if you hit a 1, your account gets deleted. No, what we're doing is we're moving to Threads. It's the new Meta social media account. We're still going to maintain Twitter, still going to be on Facebook. But one of the things we've heard from players recently is that due to some of the functionality changes on Twitter of late, particularly the ability to read feeds without being logged in, has proven to be a real headache because they're using, in some cases, our DDO Unlimited feeds for their Discords, guild websites, news websites, podcast sites, whatever. And that functionality stopped working, about a week or so ago now. So Threads debuted on Wednesday, and it just crossed 70 million signups already. And I don't think they're all bots either. It sure seems to be a pretty happening place for brands and peoples as brands and content creators. And everyone else, I guess, too. But it's been kind of a happening week in the world of community management and social media. So I went and made sure that we had an account on Threads. And this may prove an opportunity to do what Twitter can no longer do, which is actually just see our regular feeds in the future. Now, here's a caveat to that. At the moment, I haven't copied everything over yet. I'm in the process of getting sort of the mechanics up and running to be able to post everything that we post to Facebook and Twitter on Threads. Might be a few days yet. The social media network just debuted, and in terms of the kind of thing someone in my position needs to be able to multi-post and get all these messages out is not there yet. For one, it's mobile only, rather than you can't access it on your PC like through a web browser yet. The other thing is you can't schedule posts yet. The other thing is because it's mobile, and that means it has to be on my phone, it's kind of hard to get images that I have on my computer onto my phone so that I can post them up. Anyway, it just takes more time. But we're in the process of ramping up our presence on Threads, and we'll be posting the same stuff that we post to Twitter and Facebook on Threads here in the very near future. You may not care. You may be like, those social medias, I don't even like the social medias. And that's fine, too. You don't have to be a part of this if you don't want to. But I know that there's a bunch of people out there who have been, frankly, asking me in private message and even some forum threads, although I haven't seen a forum thread on the DDO side yet, about what are we going to do about the fact that the thing that I use Twitter for, I can't use it for anymore. And this is what you can do with it, because you can see the Threads channel without being logged in and what have you. So it's Threads down. Let me just drop the URL into chat for those interested in playing the home game. That's the current viewable feed. And yes, it only has 2 posts. I just got this all working yesterday, basically. But it will be a home that'll mimic the same posting that we're doing on our other social networks. So perhaps this may be of interest to you. Now, this is owned by Meta, which is built by Instagram, owned by Facebook. But one of the big changes with Threads that has the potential to be interesting in the future is that it's decentralized. That's a term you may have heard associated with Mastodon, I guess in particular, is one of the Twitter likes that has really been pushing the decentralized moniker. But what that means essentially is that in the future, your feed, as in like the stuff you post, should, fingers crossed, be interoperable. In the same way that you can use an RSS feed and plug it into any RSS feed reader that you want to read an RSS feed in, you should theoretically in the future be able to do that with any social network that also operates on the decentralized sort of technology standard. So that has some potential for us here in the future. We're still going to utilize the launcher newsfeed, the forums, and the website just like we always do. Largely the same information goes on all these places. I know so I've seen a few comments over the years that, oh, why didn't you post this on the forums? You just mentioned that Lamania was opening maybe on Twitter or something like that. It's true, I've done that a few times. But 99.5% of everything that goes onto Twitter or Facebook is also on the launcher and or website and or forums. Generally what I do is I'll have the copy, and then that's what I'll do is I'll do launcher, website, forums, social media. And so it's basically the same text in the same places, maybe with some additional pictures or whatever on social media where it's supported. But regardless, it's just a little bit of news for the day. And for those of you interested, check it out. And if you're not interested, continue to ignore it. It's totally fine. So, all right. The other bit of news, this is DDO specific news, is we are nearing the end of a hopefully successful journey for you, which is that the 8th season of the Hardcore League has got less than 2 weeks left. It's going to go until 9 a.m. Eastern on Wednesday, July 19th. So through July 18th, Hardcore Season 8 will be available. Hope you got your stuff. If not, you still have time to get your stuff, and you can find out more about that on DDO.com. I'm happy to report that this past week, I've been Mr. Slow on the Hardcore season, because I just haven't been able to dedicate all that many hours to it this season, just due to real-life commitments and what have you. But I did, this week, get my footprints. I got all 7 pieces of the treasure. And I wasn't carried through it, with one exception. And that is I had someone help me through the pit, because the pit. I could do the pit on my own, but I would much rather someone who was much faster and better at it do it, and then I go. So, anyway, that's how it went, as I now got my footprints on the Hardcore season. I want to thank everyone who's helped make that happen. So. Let me take care of something here quick. All right. Give me a quick second. I got someone acting up in chat. Let me take care of that. Well, let me try to take care of that. There we go. All right. No harassment in my chat, please. I'm reading through chat right now. Can we move on to DDO news and not meta news? Well, this was DDO news, because there's the way to get things that people haven't been able to do before. Basically, what happened is Twitter went and removed the ability to see things without being logged in, which meant that everyone's Discords and guild websites that had been pulling our feeds went down, and they were no longer able to get that information. And they wanted that information, so they reached out to us to do something about it, looked into our options, happened to coincide with this, and so that's why I led with that. Plus, it was also a slow news week. So, there you go. Alright, anyway, so Hardcore Season 8, hope it's going good with you. That's really all I've got for news here at the moment. So let me swap over to the game. I'm just in, what quest am I on? I'm on one of the quests on the harbor, the newcomers here, because I'm just looking to get some XP. I'm a level 31 barbarian here, and that's how it goes. Spot a figure beckoning.
Footsteps can be heard from further down the path.
Oh, let me turn on my footprints, since I have them now. That was what I was saying I was going to do. Why don't I actually do it? How did I get these 7 treasures? I have to say, this was pretty easy to do. Pretty easy, all said and done, because you could run all these quests on normal, and to get your treasures. If you did it on, you could do it on casual, but then you're going to have a 50% chance not to get the end reward that you're looking for. But you can run all these quests on normal and get it done, which is what I did for the most part. I started actually, originally I was like, well, I'm just going to run it on Elite First Life. But then I knew I'd probably die again like I usually do. And so I decided to basically take it easy this season, get it done, and get all the fights done. The only ones I was a little worried about, even on normal, just because whatever, is this Invala fight, which probably proved to be one of the riskiest, although it really wasn't that bad. Not normal. And then the Red Fens fight. I can't think of the name of the demon fight there. But that actually proved pretty easy as well. You just have to stay out of the lava. Well, those were the only ones I was really nervous about. I was like, if I'm gonna die, it's gonna be one of those two, even on normal. And thankfully I didn't. But it's been a pretty fun hardcore season. It seems to have been a very successful hardcore season for us. You know, I'm not allowed to give, like, metrics or kind of internal data on the seasons, but as a general rule, it has been really amazing to see the hardcore seasons roll out. We're on season 8 now, and basically every season has been bigger than the last. There was a couple, some of the repeat seasons, you know, our reduxes, perhaps aren't setting new records, but are on par with what we've done previously. But otherwise, it's all up and to the right. Basically, every season is up and to the right. And I guess we'll see if we've hit our cap with Season 8 here, but when Season 9 hits. But all of our hardcore seasons seem to be pretty successful. And so I hope you've been enjoying them yourself, and if not, well, that's fine too. There will be a Season 9. I have no information as to when or what. My guess is it would be a little different than Season 8 here, which was probably
several giants have set up
one of our, because you could get the 7-piece treasure reward from running normal. It wasn't as risky as perhaps some of the others. Although you still have the, you know, the fight for Reaper XP and everything else like other seasons have. One of the big changes was we didn't do a 5k favor reward this time, because instead of doing 5k favor, we just simply replaced it with the 7 treasure piece. And so some folks have said, well, that's cool because that 5k favor means you really gotta do the thing if you want to do the thing. And now that I don't have to worry about 5k favor, I can just, you know, worry about 1750. It takes some of the pressure off. So I guess we'll be really curious to see at the end of this season here, what's your feedback on it? Did you like it? Do you want that 5k favor back? Would you prefer that we keep doing something other than 5K favor, even if it's not a collect the 7 treasure hunt like we saw for this one, 7/13? Or, that kind of thing? Or should we find a new permanent replacement, as it were, for the 5K favor, or should we just bring 5K back? I think, like always, on the hardcore seasons, where it's a place to occasionally experiment. And so I would expect to see us continue to do some of that experimentation in the future. So it's a good place to do some of that kind of thing. But I'd be curious to see what you feel, how you feel about it. And I could probably see more about how you feel about it if I actually put up Twitch chat on a screen that I can read. Give me a second. Where are you, Twitch chat? Here you are. Okay. A level 30 reward. That's a cool idea. That sounds like totally something. Because right now, right, I mean, you do 20 and... Well, at least you got 5,000 favor to do. But you'll do that towards the end after you've got maybe a past life or two, right? Depending, I suppose. I think this treasure hunt season has been fun. It's been really cool. We have never done... Well, actually, that's a good question. Have we done a... We have never done a season-exclusive hireling. I'm not going to say... I would never say never on that. Although, my gut tells me that the amount of work it takes to make a permanent hireling like that is probably a little heavy for offering as sort of like an exclusive hardcore reward. Not that we only go with easy things or anything like that, because developing the footprint system in that hasn't really been a piece of cake necessarily either. But, what was I saying now? But, but that seems like it might be a little out of scope. Like, the amount of work that you'd have to do for the one reward would be enough that you're like, yeah, we should offer it maybe through an expansion or just store item or whatever. So I had actually, originally I had thought I would be Goofy. Oops, I missed one on the other side, didn't I? I thought it would be Goofy and have this be the season, or the show where I kill my Mock Duck character on hardcore. I was like, well, let's just roll into something on Reaper 1 and get the smackdown on stream. But then I realized but then I was going to do some actual questing too. But then I realized I had actually already prepared to transfer my character off. So I completely filled up all of my inventory space and everything. And I was like, I don't want to clear out all that space to do that. So no. This won't be the hardcore death show.
A distant sound tells you that a ward has been disabled.
But I thought about it. I could maybe do it next Friday, if I really want to. Maybe I will take the time to clear out enough space to do that and then die on camera next Friday. We'll see. Well, I'm sure we could do another dragon-themed hardcore season. This was the Dragon's Horde. Perhaps there could be a different kind of dragon theme that's more specifically about dragons or something. Because this was more about treasure than dragons, really. This season. And we could do some kind of dragon wings. That would be really cool to have, like, dragon reaper wings. That'd be sweet.
With the magical barrier dispelled, you can now explore deeper into the caverns.
The Keymaster NPC on Lamania. I'm going off the top of my head here, but my thinking on the Keymaster is that it delivers keys to your account. And what I mean by that is, for the purposes of testing on Lamania, there may be times where in the past you've had to go into the DDO store on Lamania, which, you know, is a separate store from the regular game, and buy a thing in order to grant access. And so the idea of the Keymaster, I think, is that we can simply grant a key to your account on Lamania in order to do a thing without having to go through a lot of extra steps. It's a convenience issue, both for you and for us who, when we're on Lamania and doing things like that. So I think that's what the Keymaster is about.
An enormous cavern opens before you. A raised platform can be seen on the far side.
Personally, 5K is too long for me, someone is saying. I won't go for it regardless of the reward. You'd be okay with it not coming back. You know, I think we've seen some of that feedback. Now, clearly, there's a wide variety of feedback on some people dig the 5K, but it's true that 5K is kind of a lot of work. And, you know, while obviously the Reaper and Total Favor reward is also a lot of work, maybe it's opted into in a way that that gives you an opportunity that others don't have. What am I doing? What am I even doing? I'm not even paying attention to what I'm doing. Where am I going? Why am I here? I'm going up there. You like the season 6 wings? Let's do that again. Oh, there we go. Okay. A Pac-Man fever season, huh? That's interesting. Interesting thought. Not quite sure what that would mean exactly. Where's my... I need to get a bow. Where's my ranged item? Do I really not have one? Here we go.
Now I count the hours until I am allowed to hunt again.
Oh, it's the same one. It's there. So, which one do I want to go to next? I want to go to this one down here, right? I need to get this character a ranged item. returning something or other. I thought I had one. I thought I had the thing, but maybe not. Go, and then this should take me to which one? This one? What? Oh, oh well. I'm not sure what a Pac-Man season would be. Power pellets, that's what it would be. There had to be some kind of power pellet mechanism. Where you get really big and then you can eat all the enemies that you touch. Or perhaps you go through a door on one side of the marketplace and show up on the other side. Ah, yep, did it again. Fine, let me do this again. $7K favor. Well, you could. You could. Alright, that would be particularly challenging, but possible. Right, I think we got that now. I need to swap this over again, don't I? Okay. Oops. Shoot. A barred instrument cosmetic cloak that shows you having a lute on your back. I think the biggest challenge to that would be one of animations and clipping, but is theoretically totally doable. Ah, how aren't you working? Do I actually, let me check something here. Surely I've got, I could have sworn I had a better ranged weapon. I hear a bow or something. Maybe not. No, just roll with it. Should be fine. I just gotta do it right. Hang on a second. What is that? Can I get to that? platform? Okay. Oh, that's the other one I hit. Okay, never mind. Oh, I do. It's right in my inventory. Duh. Where is my feather fall? I am notoriously bad at equipping it. That's my problem. I could probably get it, but I don't know. I am team no feather fall. That's what I am. Oops. Come on, man. Why aren't you working? Alright, let me figure this one out. Or at least try. Guess the throwing hammers it is, huh? While I'm at it, I probably do have feather fall somewhere. Or not. Yeah, I really thought the treasure hunt was a pretty cool way to do it as well. It felt like an event this season in a way that I really appreciated. Someone wants a true hardcore. If your character dies, a character on a different server gets deleted. Ouch. Ouch. And a cosmetic of a bow rather than a loot. Yeah, okay. There we go. Now let me do it. Hopefully correct this time. There we go. Except it still screwed me up. Ah. Alright. You know, I suppose I could try actually jumping on that lever this time. There we go. And I just have to wait for it to get back. Or not, because I screwed up again, because I'm an idiot. Alright. Sorry, I'm streaming right now. What's up?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm streaming right now. What's up?
Okay, just wondering.
Yep. You're right, I just jumped too soon. I will do this correctly, hopefully, question mark, this time. Come on, why is it not working? It's true, I can't pause this game. Maybe this episode should be called Hammertime. I could actually just hit it from here. Okay. Alright, this time I will jump on it. I will hit the lever. I will wait for it to go back. And then I will win. Ish. Alright. You just stay there, Frogo. You go check out that other side for me a second. Jump lag and miss the platform in 3, 2, 1. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Oh! Right. But now I know what I'm doing. That's true, you did call it. But now that I know I can just hit it on the way from here, that should help. Alright. This is proving a little more difficult than I expected. I mean, I knew this part was going to be a thing, but I figured I'd be through it by now. I don't have Kenneth Boots of Propulsion. I don't even have Featherfall in this character, although I do. I think I just have it in the bank or something. Probably off. I suppose I could look, see if I do, but I don't think I have Featherfall in this character because I kind of just don't. Because I have a high enough jump, it doesn't matter. Theoretically. Let me see if I do. Oh, I don't. Yep, sometimes the biggest disasters on stream are the funniest, the most entertaining. Makes you feel better when it's your turn. The main reason I was thinking about running this is just because I haven't run these quests in a very long time, if ever, on stream. And so I was like, I'll just do this. You actually don't need it, because I could have just, if I had Featherfall, I could probably just jump from the one platform. But I don't. For Christ's sake. It almost feels like wearing Featherfall would be cheating at this point. One XP a minute. True. You know I don't care about that. I do wish I had those Kenneth boots of propulsion, though, that's for darn sure. There we go. Now, let me try. See, now I'm nervous. Okay. Alright, that ain't working. Well, what else should I do then? I guess as long as I've committed myself at this point. I am not in a position to pre-announce when the pre-sale will start for Vecna Unleashed. I'm sorry, it's not the kind of thing I'm gonna drop 45 minutes into this stream. I apologize, but no. I can confirm that there will be items associated with the pre-purchase campaign for Vecna Unleashed. So, well, Frogo, my buddy, you finally did it. Finally fell off. Oh my gosh, did I do it? I'm afraid to move now. I did it. I did it.
The door opens,
Alright,
releasing a sudden blast of moist air.
no problem. Piece of cake. Why do I like Nymphind more than Voodoo Spice? I don't. You guys are both great. But for the purposes of trolling Voodoo Spice on stream, I will say I like Nymphind more than Voodoo Spice because you had a cooler hat when I saw you.
Giantish ruins dominate this large clearing. You can make out the outlines of small dwellings in the distance, but a magic barrier blocks exploration in that direction.
I could mention, I mentioned this last week, but our preview plan for update 60/61 here on Lamania is it will get another preview. It's not going to be next week. Next week is time when we're doing some of the final polish work associated with what we want to release as our final preview. And then I would expect to see, let me try to get an exact date. Something around June 18th. Should be that Tuesday, June 18th, I think. That will have our third preview on Lamania. And then after that, we'll see where we end up in terms of release dates and things like that. Like I say, I can't share that information with you today. The other bit I would mention is that we've talked a little bit how we are updating the DDO store in the near future. And that should be happening, I think, roughly early August, early mid-August, something like that. We'll have more information as we get closer to that as well. But something like that. And that is not a big functionality change, publicly at least.
Passageway has collapsed,
but
a hole has been excavated to give access to the hole
who needs
below.
Featherfall? Jump damage is where it's at. But it'll look different. It'll have some additional functionality, some changes to, like, say, the bookmarking system. We have a coupon code system that's a little fresh, and some other bits. But largely it's reaching parity with the existing store under kind of a new store structure. And that should be getting a preview, I would assume, on Lamania. Probably, I don't know when it's going to happen, but we'll see. Within the next few weeks as well, perhaps. Maybe the 18th. Maybe it'll get a separate preview afterwards, depending on how close we are to having it in a state that it can be previewed. A lot of the biggest functionality suggestions from the community, recommendations for improvement, are not part of this updated DDO store. Specifically, gifting is not there, and I know a lot of streamers would like to be able to hide their account name without having to use the external version of the store. Yeah, those are functionality issues we can look at, or requests rather, that we can look at for the future. But for getting this thing out the door on the time frame we need to, it's not going to be there right away.
Troublesome little devices.
That's wrong hotbar. Gifting will be tricky. I don't, there's some reasons why we don't currently support gifting that make it difficult to find an easy solution
An
for.
unnatural cold
But we'll see.
radiates
Maybe there will be
was
something we can do in
dominated
the
by a
future.
glowing magic device. Two gems adorn the control panel with Atlantic precision.
Yob Saga would like to see some improvements to character sheet data. Have a mouse over moved to a tab for things like spell power and such. That could be something at some point in the future we could do, but that would be a wider user interface process. That really has nothing to do with the updated DDO store. So that would be something like a 4K UI overhaul, which would be a big project. Something perhaps someday we could get to. You know, we'd like to see it as much as you would. But it's a big project, and it'll take a lot of resources to
As
make
the
something
lever
like that.
activates, energy pulses into the central chamber.
So, one of the things that we found when we had gifting, and, you know, I could only provide so much information to you about this, is that it is a very popular vector for fraud. A lot of the in-game fraudulent activity that you'd see, account theft, account phishing attempts, things like that, were all linked ultimately to the fact that through gifting, it meant that a bad actor could steal your account, buy a bunch of things that they could gift, and then sort of wipe your account, gift all that stuff off. And it was a vector for fraud in a way that was not sustainable. It was too problematic to allow it to continue. And so we didn't. Not what people who just want to, you know, buy codes to give out on stream or buy presents for their partner or something want to hear, but it's reality.
The gate to the west slides open, clearing the way into Dunalenthia's chamber.
And, you know, there are, I think fraud is an unfortunate reality of the world of the internet. But you have to balance, well, how much is happening? How much of a problem is it? How much does it cost the business to be able to support X, Y, and Z? And at some point, if the numbers just don't add up, and you have to make a decision to protect the accounts of people, you know, you have to make a tough decision there. The other thing, of course, is that, you know, one of the other big pieces to this, and I've seen when this argument has come up in the past, people say, well, if you had 2FA, then this wouldn't be a problem. And that's not actually, unfortunately, true. Now what am I doing? Reason being is you would still have account phishing. And that account phishing can take place even with, say, two-factor authentication. It'll make it much more difficult, but you could still have ways where people can be tricked into giving away information. So it would be nice if it wasn't an issue. But 2FA is something that, you know, we've said we wanted to do, we've been working to do, and I do think we'll see in the relatively near future. It's not going to be weeks, but it's one of our priorities. We've had engineers working on it, continuing to work on it, and eventually we will get there and be able to offer that to everyone on their account. And then it'll be something that people will have to do for their accounts.
Dunalanthia from her magical compulsion.
All right. Well, actually, that timing on that worked out, so. So, Vecna Unleashed, cool username, asks, what about the new pre-made character selector thingy that happening soon, question mark? What are you talking about? New pre-made character selector thingy. Not sure. We definitely have thoughts about updating our pre-made character paths. So perhaps that's just kind of in general what you're talking about, but a character selector thingy I'm a little less sure on. I would say that it's currently unassigned in terms of a release date. It's definitely not something we'll be working on, immediately here, but it is on our longer term agenda to, I think, update our character paths and perhaps, find some improvements there. The character paths themselves are largely based on old Mournlands player-created builds from about 2011 to 2013, something like that. And so they don't necessarily meet as current as some people would like. Now, the whole point of these character paths is just an option for maybe the brand new player or someone who just wants to run around and do a few things. So they're never really intended to be meta-based builds or endgame builds necessarily. But we can find improvements to them, and I do think that we would do that at some point in the future. But trying to have, say, the pre-made character paths compete with the current endgame meta builds, I don't think that makes a lot of sense for those. It really falls beyond the scope of their purpose, which is, I don't know what a Dungeon and Dragon is. What's a D&D? And how do I play a D&D? And this will give you an opportunity, if you really just don't know how to assign stats, if you don't know what feats are, if you don't know what skills even are, or how to use them, it'll give you a chance to run around in-game, get experience about how to play DDO, and then make a character that more fits perhaps with the specific skill set that you're looking for. That said, wouldn't hurt to give them an update, and I do think that we'll see that in the future. Alright, I think that's going to wrap it up for the show. Thanks very much for joining me here on this casual Fridays at 4 on twitch.tv/TDO stream. The show is archived over on Twitch here and on YouTube, youtube.com/Dungeons and Dragons. And it's live here every Friday starting at 4 p.m. Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/DDO stream. We have a Champion Hunter week running through Wednesday, so there's some extra items with the Mysterious Remnants Vendor in the Hall of Heroes. And again, you got through July 18th to get done with Hardcore Season 8. And you can find more about that on DDO.com. Hope you have a great weekend. We'll talk to you all again soon. Bye-bye.